Okay guys, so a couple things. What I'm going to be doing for you today is I am going to be replacing the tremolo block in my Alexi 600. It has a original Floyd Rose tremolo on it, and I have a new 42 millimeter bell brass tremolo block to replace the smaller one that's attached to it right now. And I'll have video probably of the installation, maybe just a couple pieces of it, because I have a small feeling that I may need to route out a little bit of the tremolo area, because I don't know if I'm going to get the full articulation of the tremolo with the bigger block on there. I was actually playing around with it with the panel off, and it was just kind of, it looks like there's not enough room in there already. So when I put this new bigger block in there, I'm supposed to get better sustain, I'm supposed to get better tone. Now keep in mind I'm playing through an EMG 81 active pickup, so it's already pretty hot. So I should really get some pretty screeching tones here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna play a few chords, and I'm gonna just let a few notes ring out, nothing crazy, just so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm gonna be playing through a PV6505 Plus through the rhythm channel on the clean side, no crunch. I'm gonna be playing it. All the knobs are gonna be at 6, except for on the what is that one? What the shit? On the presence, I have the presence at 8. Everything else is at 6 except for the volume, of course. It's only going to be at maybe about 1.5 or so, because that's plenty loud for this amplifier. So we're just going to do a couple of test runs on what it sounds like. This is the stock guitar. I'm going to have all the volume knobs at max, tone volume. I'm going to try to make this as close as possible. So when I do the second test run, I am going to have everything at the same place. There's your E, open E. I'm just muting the rest of the strings so they don't make any noise, just so you can get an idea of the time there. Okay, I'm gonna play the high E at the 12th fret on the high E string. Okay. Okay. Now I'm just fretting these normal. I'm not doing any vibrato or anything, because I don't want to take anything away from it, because that's not always the same. So let's just play. I'm gonna do a bend. I'm gonna do a bend from this this G note here down on the high E string, just to bend up to probably maybe a whole step, just so you can see where it's going. Now I could wiggle these notes out better, like I usually do when I'm playing, and get them to ring out. But for the video sake, that's what we're doing. Bend from the E, the high E string on the 12th fret on the E note. Okay, vibrato on the G string at the 12th fret. Okay, just do a minor chord. It's going to be an E minor. Okay. Okay, 5 chord. D5 chord. Power chords. That's all these are. Let's just try this one up here at the C. Try it at the B. 5 under B. Get a good idea what's going on. Okay, some lighter notes here. We're gonna do. Let's just kind of do a just maybe some chording here. That's just a bar. Okay, so that's pretty much what I'm doing here. I'm just trying to get you an idea of the tone, and that's why I'm using clean, no distortion, no effects at all on this. Okay, guys. So. And there you go. So when I come back to you, at least when I'll be jacked in, this guitar will have the new biggest block I can get from those guys. I think it was 42 millimeters. It is 42 millimeters. The nice guy, I think his name's Adam, at the website there, he even sent it wrapped up in a nice piece of newspaper. And I'm not being a smartass. I mean, it was nice because it was like a lingerie page or something. So, you know, there's the block. There it says how it's going to come. That's where it's going to mount to the tremolo block. There's where the springs are going to go. It's pretty much, it's shiny as shit. A couple of things I wanted to point out when I have the, I have this thing. I'm actually done with everything. I'm just kind of putting everything back together now. Clip this head wire off from there. One thing I wanted to point out is that This is my old tremolo block, and you can see how short it is in length. I want you to take a look at something. When I changed it on my guitar, the new one is just a bit too long, and it's a bit too shallow, or that my cavity is too shallow for me to actually put the back plate back on. If you guys can see pretty much what we have there. So I'm not too worried about that because I don't really like to run it just because of whenever I want to change the tuning or anything, I have to take it off. However, I am a little worried about just why. I'm a little worried about not having it on it just for the integrity issue, you know, or just for it all being the same. So what I may end up doing is actually modifying the back panel to cover up the let me show you this, to cover up the screw where it's trimmed out here, but just leave this part open so this can have all the travel it needs to. So that's just one thing to keep in mind if you're looking at purchasing one of these blocks, is that your back panel might not fit back on. Now this is a 42. This is one of the biggest ones I can get, so that might play a factor in there too. There was a 37, but to be honest with you, I don't think the 37 would have allowed for enough play in there. Now keep in mind that the bridge is almost all the way recessed in the cavity right now, and you can see that it's still protruding a little bit in there. It's still protruding a little outward. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'll take some pictures and put them up here. But when it's level, it's almost flush. But once you do anything with the tremolo, it's going to hit the back panel if it's on there. So just something to keep in mind. I'm going to go ahead and take this thing upstairs now and hook it up to my GT10 pedal. I'm going to tune it up and intonate it again, and we'll see how it plays. One more thing I want to show you that I had to do in order to make this work. Now, this is not saying anything bad. Like I said, I kind of anticipated having to do this. Besides the cavity not being deep enough for this new tremolo block, if you look, you'll see that right here I had to route this out. And the reason was, you see how this comes down when you do dive bombs? And you bring it back up, and you bring the pitch back up? I was bottoming out right about here. So I was having just about this much movement in my tremolo, which was not good because I liked doing squealies and stuff. So what I did was I routed out the back of the guitar. See, I'm comfortable doing this. Now, if you're not comfortable doing this stuff with your guitar, I really recommend that you let somebody else handle this part of the installation. But I routed that out so I can get that much more play. So I got that much more out of it, and now it's not bottoming out at all. Actually, it's bottoming a whole lot sooner than it was. So I got enough play back here in the tremolo now that I got all the, you see I'm bottoming out right on the wall there anyway. So what you're looking at now is actually the laziness of me forgetting to screw the screw in. So let me put that back in there first, because that kind of shit bugs the hell out of me. Alright, now even more alteration here. You see, I have the guitar actually hanging on the wall now because I'm all done with it. The block's in. I've also routed out the back of the guitar here. And I've also cut a big freaking hole in the back of my panel because I didn't want it to look sloppy by just leaving it off. So what I did was I cut a hole out. It took me a while to get it right too because I didn't have anything worth cutting that was good for cutting this kind of plastic. I wound up just using an old hacksaw blade. And I finished it off though with a Dremel with a burring attachment on it. So look at all the product placement we're doing here. Every home should have a Dremel. And with that said, I actually have the Black & Decker knockoff. Anyways, I kind of just got my Dremel out and put it down on a level piece of ground and just kind of went around the Dremel bit with this in my hand and made it nice and straight, nice and clean cut, and just opened this all up. So now I can still have some of my back panel and clean it up and not make it look so crappy. And I also get all the motion that I need to do dive bombs and all that shit. Alright, so I don't have enough time left to actually put the end of this video on here, so I'm going to split it up, make it a part 2. It'll be over in this area right here. I want you just to check out the second part of the video after you finish this and see how it sounds. Like Merciful Fate said, don't break the oath, and I will see you in the next video.